Hello folks, this is Milton Fernandes speaking directly from the meeting of the rivers, which is an amazing phenomenon when the two rivers don't mix, run side by side for about 6 kilometers. And this phenomenon happens because they are different in density, velocity, temperature, and acidity. Basically, these are the main differences that makes them to run. Like you see that the Amazon runs and the Negro like a big wall. They don't mix, and the density of the Amazon River is bigger. The Amazon has more silt, as you can see, and because of this silt, it increases the density about 35 grams per liter, and the Negro only 7 grams per liter, because the Negro has only rock and sand and nothing else to mix in the water. This happens because the Negro is much older than the Amazon, you know. And there was a time when there was a sea in here, and the waters from the Atlantic Ocean used to flow into the Pacific Ocean, and there was no Andes Mountains back then. So about 18 million years ago, the tectonic plates shocked in the south, and they created the Andes Mountains. And so they blocked the flow of the rivers, and now the Amazon was created. And the Amazon is only about 18 million years old, which is the same age of the Andes. And now it's flowing all the way to the Atlantic Ocean and taking all the rivers from north and from south that already existed, like the Negro. So the Negro flows into the Amazon, and the Negro has already dug the bed, taking all the silt, taking all the clay, all the sediments. Now there is only rock and sand. So that's why the water is black. Black because when the plants decompose, they release in the water the tannic acid, or tannin, tannic, fulvic, and humic acid, 3 different acids, and they make the water black and acidic. So there is not so many mosquitoes, for instance, which is a good thing. But where there is less mosquitoes, there is also less frogs, there is less snakes, less hawks, less animals. The Negro River is very poor. In fact, one of the names that the Spanish gave to this river, because the Spanish were the first European navigators to come down the Amazon and the Negro rivers, and when they were navigating on the Negro River, they called El Río del Hambre, because it was the river of famine, a very poor river if you compare to the Amazon. They were used to navigate along the Amazon, and they were the one that gave the name. I'll make another video to explain why the name of this river is the Amazon. So acidity is different. The Negro is more acidic than the Amazon. So with this neutral pH of the Amazon, you have more wildlife, and if you have more wildlife, you have more food, and if you have more food, you have more people. So if you navigate along the Amazon River, you'll see that there are many more villages along the river on the Amazon than you find on the Negro. And density of the Amazon is bigger, acidity of the Negro is bigger, velocity of the Amazon is bigger. Why? Because the Amazon, coming down from the Andes and going all the way to the ocean, it takes all the waters from north and from south, northern hemisphere and southern hemisphere. We are very close to the equator line, and all the rivers flow into the same, which is the Amazon. And the Amazon carries all this flow, therefore the velocity increases. It runs about 7 kilometers per hour, whereas the Negro only about 2 kilometers an hour. It's just very slowly, very taking it easy. You know, old guy, walk slowly. Density, acidity, velocity, and temperature. If you touch the water, man, you'll feel the difference of these two rivers. You can feel in your hand. If you have a chance to come to the Amazon, hire me please, and I will take you down here to touch the water and feel this difference of temperature in your hand. About 6 degrees difference. You have about 26 degrees C. The Amazon, which is colder because the sun reflects, the temperature doesn't really penetrate the water. And you have the temperature of the Negro, which is about 30 to 32 degrees C. And if you touch, you feel that difference. The Negro is warmer, and It's because, you know, everything that is black absorbs more heat. So every black's hot, baby. Yeah, this the negro is black, and because it's black, it absorbs more heat, and this makes the water warmer. So density, velocity, acidity, and temperature. These are the four things that makes these rivers not mix, and this causes this phenomenon of the meeting of the rivers. This is the Iga Po, which is two words: Iga, water, Po, forest. Iga Po, flooded forest. It's a phenomenon that happens every year, and the river rises in the Amazon between October and June. From October at the lowest to June at the highest, it reaches a difference of 15 meters. Yeah, it's a 15 meters difference. It's a very big difference that the river rises because of the rain. You see lots of clouds all year round. There are lots of clouds in our region, and these clouds, they carry a lot of water all the time. The river runs downstream towards the Atlantic Ocean, and the clouds carry the same water back to the west. And when they hit the Andes Mountains, they cannot go through because that's very high, so they fall down again. They are called the flying rivers, and this phenomenon happens all year round. But then there is a difference in the pattern of the rain. The rain falls more constantly and softly between October and June. We call rainy season. We also call winter. It doesn't snow, it never gets cold, but it does get mild, cooler, because of the rain. And the rain will be falling constantly. You know, the soil gets so soaked up that it does not have time to drain. Our soil is very sandy, and it's good. There are some days that it rains for 24 hours, and when it happens, and it keeps happening for so many times, the soil doesn't have enough time to drain, and when it does not drain, the water rises, and it makes this phenomenon of the floods. Along the Amazon River, there are regions over 70 kilometers that get flooded. You can go by boat through the flooded forest for over 70 kilometers along the Amazon River, which is the lowest part of the Amazon region. Rivers come from north, rivers come from south, and they all flow into the same. And more water. So it's a very big difference, 15 meters. Now in June, the pattern of the rains change a little. Now you have the rains that were supposed to fall 2 days or 3 days, they fall in half an hour. There is a very heavy rain falling. And when they fall, they bring down the trees, take the roofs from the homes, they sink some boats, and that's what we call tempestade or temporal or storm. You know that the same storms that hit the south of the US, some of them start in here in the Amazon? Yes, they do. They will start in our region as a strong storm, and most of them will go south, but some of them will go north, and when they hit the Caribbean, they get stronger and more powerful because it's wider, the humidity is even bigger out there, and so they go growing bigger and they hit the south of the US, and they start in here in the Amazon. And this phenomenon happens every year, but as they fall in only half an hour, there is enough time to drain. So the soil will have a gap of 2 or 3 days with no rain, and it will be drying again. So this is why we have 15 meters of flood in about 6 months and 15 meters of drought in about 6 months. If you want to come to the Amazon, I always recommend come twice. Come when the rivers are the lowest, and then come again when the rivers are the highest, because the same trees that you see only the canopy of them right now, when the rivers are the highest, we are recording this at the month of May. So until next month, there will still be flood coming up. You see the canopy of the trees now. You see that one is almost disappearing. When you come again in the dry season, it will be completely dry. This boat won't be possible to come through this place. You have to walk through here because it will be completely dry. We are in a floating village right now. Over 100 families live in this place. There are houses, school, churches, shops, restaurants. Everything is floating. This is the school, the yellow and blue. This one. This is where the kids come every day, and they come by boat. Of course, you cannot come walking. It's not possible. Well, when the river is at the lowest, this place, part of it gets dry, but the houses are floating, so they have to be in the water. So when the river is low, these houses that you see on both sides, they will come all together, packed together in such a way that it's so narrow that a boat like this is not even possible to go through sometimes. And there is not so much water left. And these houses, they are meant to be in the water. You see that they have anchors. That is like an anchor at the bottom, and they have ropes, and the ropes are tied to this structure of the beams or the logs of a tree called asaku. Asaku is a tree from the Amazon that lasts for over 50 years in the water, and it's a tree that is meant to be in the water. If it's outside the water, it rots quickly. That there are restaurants, bars, there are shops, church, everything that you need in a village you'll find in here and floating. And there is even a floating garden right there. Let me see, over there, you see? Banana trees, coconut tree, this is all floating. It's a life that in the past, many years ago, in Manaus, at the port of Manaus area, there was a floating city. It was called floating city because there was so many houses, over 1,000 houses, over 1,000 families lived in many houses together. They even had street, a street made with logs to walk on the logs to get to the shore, and go up on the downtown area. And of course it was dirty, because people used to throw trash on the river. So the mayor back then decided to move all these people out and decided that it's forbidden to live in floating houses along the banks of Manaus. Now they have to move. Some of them had to move down here to this village many years ago, and many of these people are already from here, that were born in here. And this is what is interesting, because you live in a floating house and I don't like this place anymore. You just go away, go by boat, and take the boat tied to your house and move your house away. You can go wherever you want. The wife keeps cooking in the kitchen, the kids keep playing the living room, and the daddy is navigating the boat, towing the house to go to a different place. This is a floating farm, a floating fish farm, and they grow in here the Piraku, which is the largest fish with scales in fresh water in the world. And we're gonna visit this place and see this fish right now. So this is the Piraku fish farm. What is the Piraku? Piraku is the biggest fish with scales in fresh water in the world. It is a fish that can get over look at that, 2 meters long. This is not the real one. This is not even stuffed. It's made with fiberglass, but it's a very good example. So you can see it's very well made. See the big mouth of the Piraku fish. It's all bony face, bones, no cartilage, it's bone. And they have so much bones that the eyes are popped out. They don't have space for the eyes. They have gills as every fish, but what's amazing is that they developed a lung, not lung like humans, but a special intestine department where they open the mouth and swallow the air, and they have to have the oxygen, because just the oxygen that they capture from the water is not enough. The name is Pirarucu. Pirarucu is an indigenous word that means pira, fish, urucu, red. This redness is what gives the name to this fish. It looks more like an eel, right? It's because it's a prehistoric fish meant to survive in our region. Oh, look at jaguar. There's a jaguar over there, but it's also not real. Jaguar is the biggest cat in America. This cat catches Pirarucu. Believe it or not, this cat goes in the water, swims in the water, and attacks and grabs the Pirarucu in the bottom of the river and brings up to the surface. This cat is amazing, and this is one of the other creatures that you find in here in the Amazon. This right now is the baby Pirarucu. You know, Pirarucu is forbidden to be caught from the nature. It is a fish that for many years it was attacked by fishermen because they have to come to breathe. So with harpoon they hit the Pirarucu and sell. Because Pirarucu has delicious meat, man, you gotta try. Pirarucu is codfish, Amazonian codfish. Just like the bacalhau, we also have them made from Pirarucu, and it's delicious. You gotta try this dish. I will show you here. They are very hungry, and Christina will throw some. Look at that. You hear the noise of a powerful suction. They have very powerful suction. They suck the prey and they smash them with the tongue on the upper mouth. That's how the prey have no chance to escape. This fish farm is actually meant for tourists. You know, this is a place where the tourists come and can buy some souvenirs, some shirts, lots of things made. And even the stuffed, not stuffed, but the fake Pirarucu. Very nice things, including this. This is the tongue of the Pirarucu. It's bony, made with bones. And this is what they use to smash the prey. When they catch the prey, they smash it. And there is no chance for the prey to escape. And this is the scale of the Pirarucu. See? It's very hard. And we can even use this for manicure because it's a very good nail file. The women say that when you use this, your nails get stronger. So this is the secret from the Amazonian indigenous women. Manicure and pedicure, yeah. The bony tongue, the tongue, you see that? You can use for the pedicure too. So in the Amazon, you can have your jungle manicure and jungle pedicure. That we use for catching them. This is a jaraqui. It's a very Amazonian. You see that it's a very powerful fish. When it bites the bait, there is no chance for the prey to escape. You hear the noise, the suction. Oh, look at that. That's a turtle, a river turtle. In the Amazon, we have turtles too. Look at that, it's going into the water. In a floating farm, we even have chicken. and they have a screen, of course, because they need to protect them from the bats, so the bats don't attack them at night, and of course the anacondas don't crawl into the place to attack them, because you know it's in the water, and very close to the water you can find lots of creatures, including the anaconda and the caimans. They try to attack these. Look at this. This is how the construction is built. This is a log of the asacu tree, the tree that comes from the Amazon river and lasts for over 50 years in the water. And we just have to take 4 or 5 together, and then the beams to attach them together. And we start building the whole structure of a regular house. You see, that's the house with the living room, the bedroom, the kitchen, everything that you find in a regular house, you find in here too. Wow, look at that. That's really powerful, huh? That's a good fighter. Of course, we are not using any hooks, so we don't hurt them. This is just for having fun. And at the end, they always win because they keep the food for themselves. Valeu, mano. Thank you. Navigating in the Amazon is the most common thing, you know. You almost don't have roads in the Amazon region, so you have from the young age to learn how to drive the boat, how to swim, and how to survive in our region, going up and down everywhere. We are called ribeirinho, riverine people that live along the riverbank. We depend on the waters of the rivers to swim, to get the food, to drink, to go from place to place. And there is no way to survive if you don't really live and you don't have a boat, or if you don't use a boat. You know, Amazon is just like that. Waters everywhere, and I invite you to come and enjoy the Amazon.